Hello. Welcome back to the Trash Hall Show. My name is your host, the Trash Man.
Welcome to the monthly haul. Let's see what was added to the inventory in November, and then let's use some of it right away in a speed build. Okay, let's start with the lids. Got this gumball machine toy container. Pretty decent lid, nice shape, fairly tough plastic, and even this domed shaped piece probably has some pretty good application as the top of a tower, or if you could keep it transparent, it could be like the windshield on some sort of vehicle. Pretty cool. This was an interesting one. It's from a spray mayonnaise. It has a really nice detail inside, although I wish it was the other way around and the detail was out on this face, but anyway, really neat stuff. I'm sure I can find a use for that. A film case lid, which you don't see, I guess, as often anymore. This one happens to have a really nice pattern inside. That'll be cool as like a little recessed detail, or even, that could even be the hubcap of a wheel. These are cool. Mini travel shampoo lids with like a tiny little cap. I just think the rounded detail is kind of unique. You don't really see little lids that have quite this much definition on them, so that's cool. Could be used on any sort of mechanical build. Pretty nice, like a smokestack. Boop, like a little smokestack, or like a cap on a large tank, like a fuel tank or canister. Pretty nice, pretty happy about those. Moving on to non-lid containers. Got this blister pack, which basically is going to be used as like a wall panel with a little bit of detail. Maybe cut a little window in there as like a bunker or pillbox spot to look out or shoot out of. This one is really cool. This is like a cream container, which looks like a jar, but you can actually pop out the inside, which has a nice curved section. Cool little fins around here. And really nice detail on this thing in here. Again, it's set down in the bottom of the jar. I wish it was some kind of exterior detail here. Still pretty cool. I'm not really sure how I would use that. What do you folks think? How would you utilize nice texture that's down recessed in something? Obviously I could cut the bottom out, but how might you use it if it was like set down in something just like this, or like this, where the detail is kind of down inside of an opening? Leave me a comment and let me know what you might do with something like that. Got these little dropper bottles. They have kind of a cool canister type shape. They'd be nice as a like oxygen canister or something like that for sci-fi. They've also got these little ridges that would be good as stairs or some other type of paneling. So nice, and I have a ton of these. I just think this is kind of a cool shaped jar. It's got a little bit of a interesting shape to it. This was actually the chewing gum container that I got the lid off of, which I used on my big Necron Titan guy. So nice to use just as like a tower or a base of something. Because of the really rounded shape, it could be having a concrete texture, or it could be something that's representing metal. So sort of a simple thing, but a little bit out of the ordinary. Got a couple hardware type things. These are from a broken playpen. They're made out of like a really tough plastic, and they just have a ton of cool detail. I don't even know which way or which direction I would use them, because the bottom end has a lot of cool stuff. The sides have these cool ridges, and the top has a lot of cool ridges too. Pretty nice. And I got this cap from the same thing. Got this little baggie of cable holders or cable tie downs with a network cable, but I never use these, so I just collect them to use as various little components. They could be little windows. I suppose you could split them in half and make them into ladder rungs, but just a nice little detailed bracket piece or a little greebly to add onto a mechanical project. The battery cover from something, which has, hey, cool detail, cool ridges inside of it. So nice to make a simple metal wall or metal panel. Pretty easily transformed into a convincing chunk of metal. So Nice piece. Always look for these if you're about to throw away your old remote control that doesn't work anymore, or that goes to your old CRT TV. These are quite useful. I recently replaced my cork coasters with some nifty futuristic ones. So I have these cork coasters, which are really nice for getting basing material out of, and also using to make like broken down rubble from concrete walls and that type of thing. So always good to have a bunch of cork around, even better if it's free. Well, I bought them at some point, but now I've collected them from my own home. Some random chunks of plastic here. This one is really cool. I have no idea what it's from. Does anybody recognize this? What is this interesting detailed piece of plastic from? Not that it really matters, but it'd be neat to find out. In any case, it's a really nice piece. It's kind of got this thick, heavy look to it. It'd be nice to use on like a tank or some other, like maybe even just like a big industrial vehicle, like some kind of bulldozer. It would also work well as maybe something on a bunker. Like it could be split in half and then used to make 2 heavy bunker doors. So really nice piece. A couple random clear panels. That's a nice piece, nice shape no matter what. It could be kept clear and used as like a skylight, or painted and used as just another chunk of something like a bunker or some kind of large vehicle potentially. That little detail along the side there is pretty cool. Could maybe harvest that detail off and then use this top part as something else. And then the simple rounded piece. It's nice to have something round that's not just cut from a cardboard roll or a plastic bottle, so a nice semicircle, tough material. I guess I'll address the elephant in the room, which is actually a T-Rex. I've got this damaged / destroyed remote control T-Rex. Some of the details, like the chunky foot, it might be a little bit hard to repurpose that into something organic, but the skin texture is really cool, and actually inside of it got some interesting mechanical stuff, a whole bunch of plastic gears, which I like to find, and then this is probably my favorite part. There's like this pivoting piece which would be easily converted into some sort of gunner turret, multi-directional gunner turret, or it could even be the ankle in some kind of large robotic walker, or I guess the wrist joint in a large mechanized thing as well. So nice little piece kind of hidden within, somewhere you might not think to look. I mean, this tail could be used as some sort of like big tentacle of a kraken coming up out of the ocean, so probably applicable as like a fantasy monster. Inside of the battery door, if you weren't using the organic textured side, it has pretty cool ridges inside, which could just be applied as wall detailing in some kind of sci-fi place if this was painted up to be like metal. Besides having a lot of fun as a puppet, the head is made out of a really squishy material, so outside of maybe casting elements of it, I'm not really sure how to apply it, but you know I'm definitely going to keep it, so it'll go into the bits box. Next, we've got various shaped pieces of plastic. Let's zoom in. I'm not sure what these are from, but I'm getting very strong communication antenna vibes from these plastic doodads. There's a couple of things along this line. They might be from the same toy or same system. I'm not sure what they are from. These were all gifted to me by my nephew. I think they're mostly purged out of garage sale Lego finds. So you get a big box of garage sale Lego, there's usually a ton of other toys mixed in. This, I think, is also, I don't know if it's from that line of stuff, but obviously that would work really well as some kind of communication antenna or something. Pretty nice. Prefab scenic base. It's a little bit cartoony, but you could weather it up, add sand and stuff like that to make it pretty convincing. Nice and lightweight. This is a great piece. I'm not sure if it's what it was, a building toy or what, but it has pretty cool detail inside, but awesome detail out here. I mean, this would just be like ready to slap on the wall of a spaceship interior, different vents and pipes and stuff like that. But this could also be the toe on a huge, like a Titan, for example. So that's pretty cool. And we got various other shaped plastics, mini lightsaber, bottom of a race car, which again would make just really easy wall paneling bring a ton of detail to a flat surface. This would work really well in, I guess, any type of sci-fi terrain like Necromunda or Space Hulk even. This is from Halo, right? Nice detailed plastic gun, good hard plastic, so you can use detail elements of that on just about anything. Yeah, not sure what a lot of this stuff is from, but great surface detail, and it's made out of that good hard plastic, so really easy to work with, to cut, weather, glue, paint, that sort of stuff. This piece is really cool. It's kind of like a gun arm looking thing. It's got that War Machine kind of diesel punk aesthetic with this vent panel with all the holes in it. Pretty cool. I mean, I guess I could take it apart and, you know, use these as various other components, but just a nice set of detail crammed into this thing. Same with this piece. Got a couple of smokestacks there. It's transparent, so it's a little bit hard to see, but they look like nice exhaust pipes. Oh, okay, then we've got some figurines and action figures. Power Ranger, which I'll probably borrow elements of him. Could be a pretty cool statue, although it's a funny pose. Very dynamic. But could also be scaled as like a giant-sized monster in D&D. Just needs a different weapon and head. And probably a paint job, but I don't know. I think this is pretty fetching. Got a very scary enemy, Darth Maul, who, spoiler alert, never seems to actually die, but he's in Pez dispenser form. I don't think it's a collector item before you say anything. He's from 2011, so I don't think they were making the really good prequel stuff at that point. I actually used Pez dispensers in my Grimdark Greebling project, so I've used them before. They're pretty good. The face itself with the hood. What could it be? Maybe some kind of Imperial statue? Some of the Space Marine chapters seem to wear a lot of hoods. You never know. I think these little guys are funny. I don't know what they're from, but they actually have some interesting angles and stuff on them. I think elements of these could be repurposed into making some slightly larger scale monsters for something like D&D. I know that seems weird when you see a bunch of fluorescent and purple plastic, but you got to remember everything can be textured, everything can be painted, so you just got to look past it and see what detail is hidden within. These plastic missile launcher things are kind of cool. Even though this is relatively simple, it does come apart somehow, and then you can get like various interesting little components. So then you end up with these two half cylinders, which have nice surface detail and these little tapered ends, or stepped down ends. I gotta find out what the real terminology for that is. Smaller dimension within, stepped down, smaller cylinders. Then you got like these cool end pieces, which could be like a nice bracket. This rounded ring piece, and then the little dome. Pretty cool. I have shown some of this stuff before, but I got even more of it. This was from some kind of construction or pneumatic toy. Just a lot of obvious potential here for any type of mechanical build. It immediately looks like a big toe from some sort of Titan or something. But of course, this could just be the bracket underneath an arm, or could be landing gear. A lot of applications for something that has this kind of cool angular detail. There's a few interesting random chunks of plastic. This little tentacle claw thing. I guess the same principle as with those action figures applies. This could be used for some kind of element of a creature for a medium or large sized fantasy model or D&D monster. It's kind of cool, like a little stand for a torch or a brazier. We got this little plastic hairbrush, which has interesting detail, but I really have no idea what I might use it for at this point. What does everyone think? Where would you use a plastic hairbrush? It's made of a pretty good quality plastic, and like this back oval piece is sort of interesting. What do you think? Leave me a comment and let me know how you might use this, or how you think I should use this. Besides for brushing a very small amount of hair at a time. Maybe I should send it to Goobertown. Got the standard E. Decent plastic sword, probably good again for a large-sized fantasy miniature. We've got some pens. I've shown pens before. There's usually some goodies hidden within, like that have a little bit of extra detail. That piece is kind of cool. Again, you just slap that into a sci-fi weapon and add a little bit of that extra convincing detail. Same here, the plunger has pretty fine, it even has like little serrations. This pen is somewhat unique as well since it kind of tapers, and I think it also has some goodies inside. Plastic cap piece, and then whatever the inside piece is. Oh yeah, that's really nice, really detailed. Again, it has those little serrations, and this one even has some little ridges around the outside. Super cool. Nice to check inside. Never get rid of pens, never get rid of anything. There's always goodies hidden within. Okay, let's see. The only other thing here is building toys. So obviously I use a lot of Mega Blocks. Some of these are Mega Blocks, some of them are block systems with which I am not familiar, like these triangle blocks. Of course, it doesn't really matter what they're from. They got that good detail, so definitely can be applied somewhere. And they're also thick. They have a thickness to them. Those are cool. And they're also a regular 45-degree angle, so really easy to incorporate into various builds and structures. I think some of this stuff is maybe like connects blocks, but just kind of slightly more interesting detail on the tapered pieces compared to Lego or Mega Blocks. A couple angular sloped pieces, some axle attachments. This one's really cool, the sloped and tapered one. And I've used these in projects before, but I got even more the sort of grimdark medieval Mega Blocks prefab wall panels. Some sort of big Mega Blocks robot feet. They wouldn't have to be used as feet, they can be applied as any type of sci-fi greebling or detail. Overall, they're just pretty rich on detail. They might even have too much, but you could cover it up with some paneling and just keep the parts showing you want it, like these pistons or the vents or whatever. And then this slick motorbike. Yeah! Okay. I'll pass it back to the narrator so I can build stuff.
Let's zoom out and start narrating. Okay, so let's make a little communication tower. I started by incorporating a few pieces into this plastic jar. I like to obscure and avoid leaving obvious signs of the original item. I achieve this by cutting away some areas and setting pieces into it, and of course by tacking on many greebly bits to add more detail and interest to the surface. I work quickly using hot glue that's cooled with compressed air, and when I need to use super glue, I sprinkle baking soda over it to add body and speed up the curing time. When recycling items, it's good to remember that most manufactured plastics will have mold lines which you should hide or remove. I fill the gaps with spackle and also cut away portions that I want to look like chipped concrete. I stamp a little detail into the jar using the hot glue gun tip. Sand and pebbles are added to convey a better concrete texture. I use black and white spray primers to build a solid base coat. Then each material type is built up with various washes and dry brushing passes. Blue and gray tones on the concrete, and metallic browns and dark washes for the metal. I use my very standard approach for weathered metal by avoiding all the edges when I paint on this green color. A quick rust wash, and then some airbrush dust, and we are done. Before showcasing the final result, I'd like to thank my generous and epic patrons. I really appreciate each one of you, and I'm very happy to produce these videos with your help. If you are interested in supporting the channel and hanging out with us on Discord, check out the Patreon linked in the description and at the end of the video. So here is the little tower. I wanted this to be a small terrain piece that could be set up on its own, or added onto larger structures to add more height and detail. If you enjoyed checking out the monthly haul and build, make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell turned on. Leave me a like or dislike and comment what you thought of the project. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next epic build video.